welcome to this week's Recharge. My head has been buzzing after last week, and God has taken me on a journey, so much so that I've now refilmed the video from last week about predestination. I will link it in the description below so you can check it out. I feel different this week, and it is amazing.
Crack on with Recharge!
We're going to start with some warm-up questions. Do you prefer mornings or evenings? And do you prefer fruit or vegetables? Have a chat about them. Right, we need to get talking. What were you really into when you were a kid? Now, as ever, the bit of the Bible we're going to be looking at is going to be below. Okay, so just look in the description for the link. One of you needs to pause the video and read out Ephesians chapter 1, verses 15 to 23. This is the Apostles' prayer for the Ephesian church. He's just been talking about how massive God is and his plan for everyone, and it drives him to prayer. Now, I know last week was a slog. It was really hard work, but please do let me know in the comment section if how you found it, what kept you going, what the conversations were. It'd be brilliant to be able to hear from you. Ephesians 1 is a really hard bit of scripture. Okay, it's a really big bit. It's all about the world and life and the universe and everything, all right? So it's going to be a difficult study, but it gets simpler, it gets easier, it gets more focused on what to do for life now as we go through the book. So don't worry, all right? Last week was a hard one. This week should be slightly easier, and we'll get slightly easier from there on, okay? So keep going. I just want to pause quickly and talk about prayer. Now, I have no idea what you think about prayer, but it's really important to the life of a Christian. It's also a huge privilege. I don't have to do it, but I get to do it. You may think it's weird to be communicating with someone that you can't see, but we do that all the time. Messaging people, phoning people, yelling to a neighbour through the walls, "Turn it down!" They are all methods of communicating with someone that you can't see. We saw in the introduction that for you to wish grace and peace on someone, you must ask the source of those things to provide them. And that's exactly what Paul is doing here. He is asking the source of good things to provide good things on this group of people. Now, I remember a friend of mine putting their faith in Jesus. When she started to pray, she said to God, "I wish a lot. I wish that you would help those people." That's really what you're doing. You are wishing something for someone. But the difference is that for Christians, you are appealing to the all-powerful, massive source of everything good in the world. So listen, if my mate dies and you tell me you are thinking of me, do you know what difference that makes? Nothing. Now, if my mate dies and you tell me that you're praying for me, that means something. So let me read you a message that I got from a friend yesterday. It said this. It said, "Hi mate, one of my friends from home has been watching the Alpha Youth videos," linked here by the way, brilliant videos, on YouTube, and has sent me a few questions he has about Christianity. Our conversation has actually died down a bit, and so yesterday I prayed about him that he may feel comfortable to ask, to ask any questions he has. And today that happened. This is the first time this has happened to me. So I was just wondering if you could help by answering a few of the questions that he had. Legendary! What a completely legendary thing to text through. Prayer isn't just wishful thinking. God hears your prayers, but he answers them how he wants, not always in how we want. My daughter keeps asking me for ice cream. If I gave it to her every time she asked, she'd have to start measuring her weight in tons rather than kilograms. We don't always get what we want, but we do always get what is best for us. But what does Paul pray for? Did you notice he isn't praying for good health or loads of money? He's praying for something much, much more valuable. So verse 17 is to know God better. We all know money doesn't satisfy us, it just makes us feel good. But if God is where we get satisfaction, prayer that we get to know him better is the best thing that we can do, right? The more you get to know God, the more you're excited about your future with him. And that's what Paul wants for them in verse 18. Right, can I ask you a question? Be honest. What do you think verse 19 means? Right, incomparably great power for us who believe. What does that mean we can do? Now, if you were really good friends with someone, like really rich, like really good friends, then they would trust you with the stuff they have, right? If you needed money, who would you go to? You go to that person. It's the same with Christians. As your relationship with God grows, as we get to know him better, the more trust there is, the more power we will be involved in. Right? It makes sense. A growing relationship with God means power for the powerless. That's awesome, right? And then verse 20 to 23 summarizes this teaching about Jesus that we've seen. He is powerful enough to do anything, and he has authority over everything, and the church is the representation of him, which we will go on to look at next week. It's what he goes in the letter. So what does this mean for us as we read this? Now, if you're following Jesus, then why not follow Paul's example and ask that you and others would get to know him better? Getting to know friends better just means more fun, right? It means more joy, more desire to be around them. It's the same with God. If you get to know him better, there's going to be more joy, there's going to be more life, there's going to be more, just going to be great. Now, if you're not a believer in Jesus, then prayer is still open to you. You can still talk to God. Maybe doing so would change your mind about prayer. Now, why not give it a go? Let's give it a try, see what happens. For now, why not have a look at the following questions and see if you can have a chat. Okay, here is the challenge for today. You need to make a milkshake. The rules are that you have to be able to drink it. Okay, so no like petrol or anything. You could choose to go mean and make it like spicy or something, but you can also choose to go nice. You could make it taste great. But you have to agree to at least taste both, okay? So you've got to try both. So if you go nasty, you're having some. Milkshakes. Guys, please do send your pictures of your milkshakes in using the hashtag #TheBibleApplied, all right? Because I really want to see them. I want to know what's in them. I want to know how harsh you are being with each other. I want to see you drinking them, that sort of stuff. So upload videos and pictures and stuff. It would be great. Right, here is your big question. Hasn't science disproved God? Open. Pause. What's happening? Hasn't science disproved God? Short answer, no. Long answer, no.
Sorry.
Look, science is limited in its scope. It can explain what something is, but it can't explain in every case why it is. If I made you a meal, science could tell you what techniques I use, what the meal is made from, what it's going to do for you, but it can't explain to you why I made it. I made it to make you happy. Science can explain the world around us, but it can't explain in every case why. Now, we tend to go to scientists as people who are trustworthy, right? Now, when you hear a scientist talking about their field, we listen to them because they have the knowledge, the training and the experience. If I want to know something about the creation, excluding the creator seems to me to be a stupid thing to do. Science is much, much more fun with God than without. Now, if you're watching on YouTube and want to look more into the subject, then check this video out from Professor John Lennox speaking at a massive youth conference. It was awesome. Right, here's your quiz. What came first, the blender or the toaster? What came first, zips or Velcro? What came first, fridge or microwave? What came first, penicillin or insulin? Now what came first, the MRI scanner or implantable pacemakers? Right, what came first, laser printing or floppy disks? Anyone remember them, floppy disks? What came first, Google or the Hubble Space Telescope? Okay, here's your answers to the quiz. What came first, the blender or the toaster? It's the toaster. Zips or Velcro? Zips. Fridge or microwave? That's the fridge. Penicillin or insulin? Insulin came first. So the MRI or the pacemaker? It was the pacemaker. Laser printing or floppy disks? It was laser printing. Weird. Google or the Hubble Space Telescope? Hubble Space Telescope. Well done, let me know your scores below. Right, prayer. If you are the youngest in the room, you are the one to pray today. There won't be any pressure, but it is a brave thing to do. It's brave to pray It's brave to pray in front of other people. So give it a try. Right, have a great week. I am really looking forward to hearing from you, and I look forward to seeing you next time.